it's Jamie from Pixel Discoveries, and today you and I are going to hack our way through Zelda Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Game Boy. In this episode, we're going to discover never-before-seen locations and dungeons, we'll also investigate a hidden debug mode, and of course we'll expose some hidden glitches. Zelda had several releases, but we're going to focus on the original monochrome version that was released in 1993. There's lots to cover, so here we go. Our first discovery takes us to Koholint Island's item shop located near the beginning of the game. By modifying a specific set of memory codes, we can activate some hidden items in the shop that were never meant to be sold. The Ocarina, Acorn, and Medicine can all be activated in the shop. Although there is pricing marked for each item, there's no pricing data allocated in the ROM, and therefore the items are free and can be added to your inventory without paying. Oddly, when you approach the clerk with an item, an irrelevant bank of text is presented on the screen. However, the default thank you message is presented as normal. Just as in any version, you can also steal the items by sneaking past the store clerk. The same unfortunate fate awaits you as if you stole the paid item, and the clerk will zap you when you return to the shop and you'll be named thief for the rest of the game. It just wouldn't be Pixel Discoveries without finding a hidden debug mode. By activating a code with an external device, a pre-made save game becomes available. These pre-made save games would have two useful purposes. First, it would significantly speed up testing time when games are being played by testers. And secondly, looking back at 1993, we can see many materials that advertise Zelda, such as magazine articles, commercials, and of course the box art. But playing the game can take hours, days, or even months to figure out, so by making this code available, media publishers could present many different areas much quicker than starting from scratch. The pre-made save game has some other cool features, so let's check them out. The first feature is probably the most entertaining. By pressing any arrow button, followed by the select key, you'll be able to do some pretty interesting things, such as increase speed when moving around the world, the ability to walk on water, as well as on top of objects and pass barriers, and possibly my favorite, no long dialogue from the owl. Another small trick can be accomplished while selecting any area on the map screen. Pressing the B button followed by select will immediately bring you to the selected area. An interesting quirk with this hack is that when switching between screens, the character data isn't always updated. So in this example, we can see Marin walking around the forest, and we're even able to engage in a battle with her. Now let's take a look at the ROM's graphical data. Buried within the sprites and textures, we can see a cloaked man. He reminds me of the man that appears in the very first Zelda game, but since he was never programmed into Link's Awakening, we may never know what his intended purpose was. Another interesting piece of hidden data is this little character. It looks somewhat like Kirby. It also has characteristics that make it look like it could have been used as a point of interest marker on the world map. Is it possible that Kirby would have made a cameo in the game? I guess we'll never know. Another strange feature can be accessed by forcing debug mode and starting a game with one leading space. We are landed at Terran's house, where we can specify a hexadecimal value ranging from 00 to FF using the arrow keys. Changing these values will show all possible text events on the display. This certainly would have been handy for translation purposes, as the game was available in many different languages. On the subject of text, the shovel can be obtained from the shop either by purchasing or stealing it. However, it appears it may have been possible to obtain the shovel through a chest, as we can see some text hidden amongst the string data. Let's take a look at what the text would have said. You've got a shovel. Now you can feel the joy of digging. But that's not all the hidden text. There's also some hidden location names burned into the ROM. Let's take a look at the map again and see where they may have been located. There's Waterfall at the Shrine, which presumably could have been located here. They're south of the shrine, which could have been just below this area. And finally, entrance to the animal village, which could have been a signpost in or around this area. There are 2 hidden jingles that were never intended to be heard. Now, some songs and jingles are obtainable by entering a specific name at the title screen, but we're really not interested in those since they were obtainable under normal circumstances. Let's hear the first sound. It sounds similar to the jingle that's played when you obtain an item. Now, let's hear the second sound. This one's a mystery as to where it could have been placed, but it sounds suspiciously close to Street Fighter's scoreboard jingle. What do you think? Let me know in the comments where you think these sounds may have been placed. Now let's head north to the Eagle's Tower and see what we can find hidden here. This tower was confusing because you needed to destroy all the pillars in order to reach certain floors. The programmers may have been confused as well because there are few rooms that can't be accessed. This room has an empty staircase which leads here, and you can see that there's no return staircase. This room has several enemies programmed in it, but again, it's an impossible room to get to. There's no glitching, so maybe there is a yet-to-be-found legitimate way to access these rooms. Link's Awakening is notorious for having glitches and bugs, many of which are discussed in message boards. Do you have a memory or odd experience with the game? Let me know in the comments. Well, that wraps up this episode of Pixel Discoveries. I hope you enjoyed catching a glimpse of some hidden content from areas of a Game Boy game that's perhaps long forgotten. Thank you so much for watching, and stick around, there's many other Pixel Discoveries ahead.